problems of heating systems, and I would like to just highlight some of the problems with forced hot air. Again, if you have forced hot air, probably it's a furnace, or you could have a heat pump. So if there's no flow, one of the most common problems that you will see with forced air is no flow of air. And usually it's going to be a clogged filter. Like 8 out of 10 times it's a clogged filter, or filter is not working properly. And a clogged filter can cause you to burn out your inducer fan motor. So that's why it's very important to change the filter and force hot air system very frequently. So you can check the fan limit switch and make sure it's set the right temperature. Sometimes the belt drive on the inducer fan is broken. So if we try to imagine forced hot air, this is my furnace, and this is my fan belt, and the fan is here. Let me draw a fan here. Okay, so it's pushing the air through, and if you have your filter in here and the filter is clogged, probably you will have problem with the fan overworking, or sometimes you have no flow completely going through the duct. And if the fan belt is loose or the motor is not running, probably you're not going to have any flow in the air. Motor is not working, voltage is not going to the motor. So if you have problem with the flow, probably something wrong with the motor, filter, or the air passages that's going through the duct. Check the fan limit switch, make sure the temperature is correct. There's a fan limit switch here that will make sure the temperature of the air temperature will be between two limits. So it should be from, I think, low is 90 and higher is 200. If you have air, that's not, if the air temperature is not there between those two limits, probably it's not going to turn on. Check the blower spinning in the correct direction. It's one of the common problems that the fan is not going in the right direction. Somebody misinstalled the fan, and now instead of pushing, it's pulling. So again, common problem could be with the motor, also the fan. If you have odor in the hot air system, which is very common to have odor, because again we are heating air, not water, so odor is very alarming. Something is wrong, and it could be the blower fan motor is burnt or burning, or something wrong with the build, or it could be a problem with the heat exchanger inside the furnace. So if you are breathing combustion gases, that is very dangerous. So take odor seriously, and you have to go and check your heat exchanger using either a smoke test or visually. Smoke test is very good to know that it's not leaking, and you can also do a pressurized smoke test. Check the flue pipe for rust. If that's the case, probably most likely there is some kind of rust going into your heat exchanger, and probably your temperature at the flue pipes is very low. So that's another area to look at. Consult the manufacturer for some replacement parts. For if you found out that the heat exchanger is actually working, sometimes you can change the heat exchangers, and other times you have to change the entire furnace. So check if that's a possibility, but under no circumstances you should fix the heat exchanger. So I mean, do not like try to patch it, but you can replace the entire heat exchanger. Again, it's a liability issue, and carbon monoxide is very fatal, so be careful with that. Visually inspect the duct if if the problem again is odor. It could be a trapped mouse, mildew, debris, or some burning insulation, or some burning leaves inside the duct. So you can go with a scope. They have scopes now that can connect your phone, so you can see what's inside the duct without having to take it apart. So it's a good idea to have a camera with a scope, so you can go inside and look inside the ducts. Okay, if we have some inadequate heat in some rooms, so it could be the indication of a flow problem. Either the damper is closed, maybe the duct has been collapsed. So check the duct system. Dampers, clogged filters again. Dislodged duct work, or something fell on it and it's completely clogged, crushed in one area. Also, this could be another issue, which is an improper duct sizing. Is it new or old problem? If it's a new problem, probably uh, if it's an old problem, probably it was not sized correctly. If it's a new problem, could be because we added a cooling unit or heating unit to an existing duct that was not sized correctly for heating or cooling. So that's one thing. We know how to size duct from the forced air week. So make sure that duct is adequate for the amount of heat you expect to have in that room. Noisy overflow can be an issue. So something could be rattling in the duct, uh, a part is loose, and again, uh, duct is subjected to a flow of air, and air is very cause a lot of acoustics. So uh, duct is a very hollow pipe, so anything can be any kind of noise will be magnified and cause you to have a very large noise. So it's good to know where's the noise coming from. And again, noise is an issue that some people notice more than other. So if you have a noisy airflow, you might want to go and check the duct. Also check the fan belt, check the vibration, and check the connection or fasteners for that duct. Okay. Again, some of the solution could be an air filter. As you see, a lot of problems caused in forced air system because of air filter. Uh, Changing the fan speed to a faulty belt. If the problem is new, that could be like a faulty belt that's making it squeak, or the belt is too low, tight, or too loose. That's squeaking every time it comes up. The squirrel cage could be loose or vibrating inside the duct, causing you to have a lot of noise when the system comes up. Partially closed damper or register could be another issue. The breeze, fan speed changed all of a sudden, something went wrong with the motor. New addition to the system can be also detrimental. If it's done without doing the calculation of the proper uh, pressure balancing, it could be a problem because you will have air flowing in one duct faster than the other, and we said before that high velocity air can cause a lot of noise. Design issue. If we have no heat coming in, so we have airflow but there's no heat, so this could be a problem with the thermostat or the airflow switch. So there's airflow switch is if the airflow switch is on and we have airflow, then there's no problem with the air switch. Could be a thermostat problem. Flame failure could be another problem. Check with the burner operation. Could be the igniter problem for gas or oil furnaces. Also could be gas valve. Again, for gas furnaces, the gas didn't come up, which means that there's no fire. No fire means that no flame and no heat. Could be electrical problems, and check for warning lights and why did the system go on safety. Check the flame rod or the flame sensor. The flame sensor is like again one of the most common problems with gas furnaces, especially if you have forced hot air. So check that and make sure it did not go on safety. Safety controller wired correctly could be an issue. Could be a wiring issue in the control, and especially if you have a hot and cold air system, maybe the control was not wired correctly, and instead of turning the furnace, you turn the air conditioner. So check. And yeah, so if we have a duct sizing problem, this could be the problem, which we solved for one system, then we added something else. And I should add to that also, if the system was sized for gas or oil, then you put in a heat pump. It was not sized for a heat pump. Air filters. Again, one of the biggest problems with the forced hot air system is the air filter. Many times the air filter does not get changed, it gets very clogged, the fan motor is working overload, and eventually it will pull pieces of that filter inside because it's so old and deteriorated, and you get to think that this filter is picking up stuff from the entire house. So the filter has to be cleaned. This is a dirty filter, and you replace it with a new filter. Those filters, some of them are very inexpensive. Make sure also the direction of the filter is put in the right way. So there's usually an arrow here that tells you which side should go towards the fan and which side should go toward the duct. Duct problems, again, look at this duct. You can see that the duct is not really done correctly here. Part of it is closed and crushed, so that's not a really good duct system. I'm probably losing a lot of pressure in here. And you can see some parts are crushed and not open completely. This is just a picture for the layout for hot water system for radiant floor heating, and here we see the layout and the spacing between those hoses using PEX tubing. So I just want to show you that. Bad wiring again. So if we took combustion control or theory of control, we said that we do not want to see this kind of wiring. This is a bad wiring for many reasons. First of all, you have water close to wiring. Most of the wiring is exposed. We don't want to have it. The conduit ends here and there's wiring going everywhere. Also, there's a color problem. We don't know which wire goes where. They're not very well labeled. So this is like a bad wiring job, and the location is really incorrect. And how to fix that? Have complete conduit. And probably if you have to have it close to the valve over here, it has to be sealed. It's not a good idea to have wires next to water system in such matter. Any repair that will happen in this area will have this water get wet. Cracked boiler, this is what it looks from the inside once you take out the casing. And if we look here, this insulation completely broke and the system completely leaked. So most likely there is wrong, flame impingement or overheated the system, or the system was heated or cooled quickly and caused that ceramics or cement to. This is an indication of a leaky boiler, and probably you see it. Sometimes the leak is not that big, so it can leak throughout the entire season. But when you have a leaky area like this, you want to know where is the leak coming from. So it could be you have to remove all the casing and check where the water is dripping. From looking at this, it could be from these valves, it could be from the casing itself. So you want to remove it and keep it running and see where does it leak. Sometimes the boiler does not leak when it's cold. You have to heat it to see where the leak is coming from. Okay. Condensing boilers. I have a video about condensing boilers and how they work. I put the YouTube link in here, and I'll also put it in Blackboard. It's very, very interesting to watch. Again, most of the new systems are condensing boilers, and we want to keep those. We want to update to condensing boilers because they are very efficient. We can achieve thermal efficiency up to 97 or 98%, and it will be really worthwhile for you to watch the video and see how they work to get an idea if you will have to install these. So what happens here is all the flue gases, they undergo more heat extraction until to the point where they start to condense, and the flue gas here will be let out as around like 60 degrees Fahrenheit. But the caveat is we will have some condensation here. Some of this condensation has sulfur in it, depending on what you're burning, some byproducts. So we have to install a filter for the oil, for the water, for the condensate before we can discharge that to the sewage. And it's a very, very smart idea to extract all the heat you can get from fossil fuel. This is a picture of the filters. They also call the neutralizer because whatever acidity comes out from the flue gas pipes condensate can be neutralized using those pellets in here, and eventually these will be changed once a year or so. Okay, so these are some of the ideas that and tips that you can have before you do some kind of troubleshooting. But when in doubt, always consult with the manufacturer. Most manufacturers have hotlines and technical lines where you can call and ask for problems. Also look at online forums and some YouTube videos. It's been a very common practice recently that every manufacturer will have videos regarding their complete systems or equipment that they put in the market. Also, it's good to keep a record and also review records of the maintenance that you did on the boiler. Okay, please watch the videos on the Blackboard, and I will post the condensing boiler also on Blackboard. Thank you, and if you have any questions, please post them in the forum on Blackboard. Thank you.